Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Moneycontrol. I'm Karunya Rao. With me is Manisha Gupta and we will be talking about sugar once again. Lots happening in this space. Stocks, of course, are testimony to the kind of interest there is. Last couple of sessions, we've seen very high double-digit growths coming by for sugar sector companies. But let's talk about the commodity and what is going on there, what is driving so much interest.
Well, yes, there has been so many factors which have been supportive. The latest trigger that we've seen in last 24 hours coming for sugar is that in the latest meeting for GST, we also have seen the ethanol blending GST being cut from 18% to 5%, and that clearly has been positive. So this has been now done for the private refiners. Earlier, it was only applicable for the public sector OMCs. Now it doesn't directly work into the sugar sector because it is ethanol, so the sentiment value clearly has been positive, and the GST for ethanol blending coming in from 18% to 5% clearly seems to have done wonders. The second point that has happened also is that in the same meeting, the government has now allowed 20% ethanol blending starting from 15th of December 2022, and we clearly have been talking about on how the ethanol blending targets have been preponed now. So 20% is what the government is talking about 2025 as well. So both the ways is what the street has seen as very, very positive, and this clearly has been the latest trigger, keeping the sugar prices and the sugar stocks on the higher side.
So, how much of a gain have we seen in sugar prices? Of course, we discussed it last week as well about the seasonality factor at play and, of course, the overall demand scenario. But on back of this development, has there been any knee-jerk reaction?
Well, the sugar prices, for that matter, have a minimum selling price. So the prices have been keeping above that, and the government clearly has given a big thumbs up to the way the sugar mill or sugar industry has ensured that there is enough availability and the prices also are not out of the whack. This is one sector where you have seen farmers, traders, producers, and consumers. Actually, government has been, or rather, the sector has been able to have all the stakeholders quite on the happy side. So the retail prices are not too much higher, above 42 rupees per kg, and we have seen good amount being paid to the farmers. The FRPs are great. And 5 years ago, Karunya, we would talk about on how the mills owe so much of money to the farmers. Those arrears also have come down so sharply. So as of now, 99.5 of the arrears clearly have been paid off. So the whole chain, the financial chain, also looks positive. The balance sheet of many of these sugar mills does look positive, and the sector clearly has been in a sweet spot.
What is with the production level like? And right now, is the demand and supply situation in sync?
Well, yes, another big positive is that last year when we did a record export from India, it was much of that was done without the subsidy. Now this time around, when the government has given 6 million tons of an export quota, that is without subsidy, but because the international prices are higher than where the Indian markets are trading, it is a big positive here. You asked about the inventory and the stock situation. We are looking at a good crop. So even when you look at a 36 million tons of a crop, 6 million tons is what you need to keep as a buffer. 6 million tons is what you are looking to export. And at 27.5 million tons of Indian consumption, that maths completely works out. The only one factor that could be worrying is the weather part of it, because we haven't seen the winter as yet set in. So there could be some concern with the yield, but that is something that the government will keep an eye on and take a review of situation by the end of Jan. And another export quota extension perhaps could come in at that time.
Well, talk about yourself because winter surely is setting in where I am right now in the northern part of the country. But he's hoping that there is, a stable winter crop this time around to sort of abate all those concerns. But what about exports? Because that also, the reports of the government increasing the export cap on sugar after assessing the output in Jan, that also something that has really triggered the stock rally of late. What
Oh,
about
well,
sugar
yes.
prices? Has that also, triggered the sugar prices? And what is the export situation now vis-a-vis how it's likely to be once the cap is lifted?
So, as you said, yes, it's not going to come out until end of Jan. As of now, the caps
Yeah.
will continue to be in place because the government is slightly concerned about the sugar crop overall. And let me also tell you, Karunya, that remember those 7 or 8 agriculture commodity trade was suspended last year in December
Yeah.
2021, and it was done for 1 year. That was supposed to happen on, if that 1 year you count it as the government's blanket ban, then that should have opened on 21st December 2022, which is tomorrow. But as as of now, we have no notification. Even if that notification, if that comes tomorrow, let's say if it is a last minute thing, then also perhaps you will have to give time until Jan or Feb. And the sources tell us that the government, with a bit of a concern in inflation, and because this is festival season and wedding season, and the demand could gain up, and with the kind of uncertainties you have in international markets, you couldn't perhaps be looking at a full open ban. So yes, there are concerns. And even your point about the export of sugar into the international markets, well, yes, even after that, out of that 6 million tons that has been allowed, we do understand that 4.5 to 5 million tons has been contracted. But what has been exported has been less than 1 million tons. So while the number looks good that, India sugar mills have contracted 5 million tons of export already, but what has gone out of the country is less than 1 million ton. So those are the numbers to keep an eye on too.
Right. So, coming to the bottom line question, buy or not to buy right now, sugar?
I think with the way we are, and we could be a major exporter into the international world, where we do understand that Brazil is between harvest, Thailand crop is not looking so great, Brazil and also Europe is looking to buy into the international markets as well. So all of those factors are very positive. For the Indian markets also, it is going to be about strong demand. Remember, there is elections continuing until next few months, so there's going to be good demand on ground because of that too. So yes, I think it still is a buy. And then add to that the ethanol story, and you have nothing to lose.
All right, great. Then, on that sweet and happy note, we're going to wrap it up right here. Thank you so much, Manisha, for joining in with the latest on sugar prices. And, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock with a fresh update on commodities.